Hello. How's your day been? Mine has been going very well. I've actually just come down from a lecture. I had my executive lecture today, and I also did some other things. So, how have you been? Welcome to yet another edition of the Thriving Family Table Talk. And today's series is on thriving parenting. So, let me get in to join. Today is episode 7, and we've actually had 6 other episodes on thriving parenting. We've talked about raising kingdom generals, building a spirit-led home in a fast-paced world, discipline with grace. We've talked about modeling Christ to your children, being consistent in values, that's teaching and modeling. And we've also talked about effective way to communicate with your child. And today's episode 7 is rebuilding bridges, healing the parent-child disconnect. You know, in the parenting journey, sometimes there will be disconnect. So that is inevitable. It is an occurrence that happens even in normal relationship, how much more the child-parent relationship. So give me 1 minute. Let me try to locate Sade so that we can go right into the topic this evening. Wow, I think I'm having a bit of technical issues. Just 1 minute, please. Yes. Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. If you are joining us, please let us know where you are joining in the comment section. And for all replays, episode 1 to 6, today is the 7th one, you can actually get the replays on our respective YouTube channels on Naomi, The Thriving Place, and Sade Excelling Life. I will take that again. You can get the replays on Sade Excelling Life and Naomi, The Thriving Place. These two handles our YouTube channel. So I will introduce the topic again: rebuilding bridges, healing the parent-child disconnect. Rebuilding bridges, healing the parent-child disconnect. The topic is very, very relevant for today's parenting journey. Yes, it is very relevant because rebuilding bridges, it is a metaphorical term that refers to relationship repair. The essence of the exercise will ensure that there is no distortion in the relationship, in the parent-child relationship. Firstly, for the parent is to function optimally, because when the parent is functioning optimally, he's able to pass down life values and valid life skills to the child. And secondly, the child has to be in a calm state to be able to assimilate, to be able to tap in, learn the life teachings that is coming from the parent without cognitive biases. In every relationship, there is always some sort of conflict, and conflict resolution in the parenting relationship is very key. It is a key element that parents must learn, and also the children. It will also prepare them on how to handle conflicts. So this relationship, it needs to be repaired at every point in time so that there's not a distortion, and so that there is a healthy relationship that is preserved between the children and the parents. So we are going to delve into the first question. The first question is, what causes parent-child disconnect in today's world? What causes parent-child disconnect in today's world? Thank you, sis, for joining. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction, and welcome everybody. So before I, answer the question, the topic brings to mind 3 key ideas. That is rebuilding, and that suggests that something was once old, but has now been broken down, just as I said, or weakened, and it needs to be rebuilt. which take
Yeah.
intentionality, patience, and having, the right foundation. And bridges, when we talk about bridges, it's something
Yeah.
that connects two sides. So, which means that if you are rebuilding the bridges, it means that those two sides should have remained apart, but we're trying to bring it together.
Yeah.
So build a bridge is building trust, building communication and love, and also the disconnect, is a state of broken down communication,
Yeah.
emotional distance, or strained relationship between the parent and the child.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was looking at this topic, it brings to mind the story of the prodigal son
Oh,
in Luke
yes.
chapter 15, verse 11 to 32. The disconnect began when the son demanded his inheritance
Yeah.
and left seeking independence on his own, and it
Mm-hmm.
happens today, like sometimes the children, they just feel I'm old enough, I can make my own decisions, I don't
Yeah.
need you, you
Yeah.
know. So this shows that children through wrong choices or rebellion can create a rift in their
Yeah.
parent-child relationship. Yet, the father's love and the patients also revealed how a parent can respond to either heal or deepen that disconnect. The father of the prodigal son, he didn't chase him away in anger. He waited with compassion, and when he returned, his arms were open to embrace him. And that is one thing that as parents we should do. And on the other hand, the Bible also warns that disconnect can be caused from the parent side.
Yes.
Ephesians 6:4 says, and you fathers, do not provoke your children to wrath,
Yeah.
but bring them up in training and admonition of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And similarly, Colossians 3:21 says, fathers, do not provoke your children. Not just fathers now, including mothers.
Yes.
Fathers and mothers, do not provoke your children lest they become discouraged. So when as parents we're harsh, neglect, or having unreasonable expectations from our children can provoke anger from the children, resentment or discouragement. So
Yeah.
disconnect can come from both directions, from children who wander away, who are
Mm-hmm.
disobedient, from parents who mishandle their role. So what causes parents-child disconnect in today's world? I touched on some of it, but just to put it
Yeah.
in some point, like from the parent side, busyness, sometimes parents are overwhelmed with work and life responsibility, and there's seems to be no time to even build
Mm-hmm.
that relationship with the child or with the children. And even when the children, they really have things on their mind that they want to say to the parent is not patient enough because there are other things pulling their attention, and it can bring about discouragement to the children. Then another thing that can cause that is the generational gaps,
Yeah.
when as parents, we are not intentional about bridging that generational gap, because our children, they are being exposed to different culture
Oh,
and
yes.
technology, and things are so different from when we were growing up. The things that
Yeah.
were normal in our days,
It's not
they are not
normal now.
normal now. So the words, that were normal in our days are not normal. Take for instance, somebody is saying, I'm a goat. And in my mind, how can you call yourself a goat? A goat is a stubborn animal, you know. And the child said, no, I'm the greatest of all times. So just brushing and so the generational gap can cause
Mm-hmm.
disconnect, because it means that we don't understand ourselves, the children
Mm-hmm.
don't understand the parents, and the parents don't understand the children. Then lack
Mm-hmm.
of communication. If communication is broken down in the home, people are not communicating,
And
or um, people are not communicating, or people are not understanding
mm-hmm.
themselves in their conversation, it can bring about this disconnect and unresolved conflict. You mentioned it. When issues are ignored, bitterness grows. When unresolved conflict, if a child is
Mm-hmm.
feeling less loved than the other child, and you just say, come off it, I love all of you the same, you're not dealing with it to address that, it can breed bitterness. And also parents not being intentional about When you are wrong, admit it as a parent and say
Yeah.
sorry, because the children are also human. So those are just the few things, that can bring about disconnect.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see that part of parents apologizing is very key because they will also, as in, yeah, is a humble part on the part of the parents, but you're also teaching them that anybody can be wrong, that
Yeah.
life process there are mistakes, and when it occurs you just teach them the proper thing to do, which is apology. You, as in, they know that nobody is above apologizing, nobody is above saying I'm sorry. So it's a good thing. Yeah, the parents is okay, as in parents should not mishandle their roles because it is a privileged role. It is a privileged role. So we actually need wisdom to be able to train the children again and again. So we're going to move into the next question, which says, what are the signs that that a disconnect has occurred between the parents and children? What are the signs? Let me just say one thing that's coming to my mind. When there is according to my Oga, those days my supervisor will say monosyllabic answers. Yes,
Yes.
no, yes, no,
No,
yes, no.
breakdown in communication. Like
Yeah.
everybody, like me, I'm always like, why are you giving me short answers? There's an issue when you start getting no, not at all. I'm fine. you
Mm.
know. So that
Why
is
does
what.
everybody keep asking me the same question? They'll, as in, why does everybody keep asking me the same question? What is wrong?
Oh, that is total breakdown in communication.
Yeah.
Like nobody is
Yeah.
understanding each other. So that is one important sign when there's a change in that communication.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like everybody is on the same page. There is a
Mm-hmm.
disconnect somewhere, and of course that will bring about emotional distance.
Yeah.
Sometimes physical distance and emotional distance. If you look at the
Mm-hmm.
prodigal son, he went away. It was a way. The physical distance was there. He just left the house. But sometimes people are in the house, but there is distance. Emotionally, everybody is just on their own. I day your
Walking
day
on
with this
eggshells, just
connection. Yeah. So that those are part of this the signs. Open rebellion, like the child is just defiance and indifference to guidance,
mhm,
disobedient, not ready to listen to anything, and of course, loss of joy at home. The
mhm.
home feels like a graveyard, or the home feels like a place filled with tension, lot of tension, and the parent not able to reach the child not able to reach the parent. And
Yeah.
sometimes another thing to show disconnect is that the parent just abandons the child and say, well, I've tried my best, now do whatever you want to do. And the Bible says that in Proverbs 29:15, the rod and rebuke gives wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his
Yeah,
mother.
both parents. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes, some children, can really frustrate their parents,
Mhm.
and they get to that point like, okay, do whatever you want to do. So those are some of the signs.
Yeah, irrespective of those signs, as in, for me, I think you just have to find how to do. I remember there was a time I bought a course, how to handle difficult people. I know I have done a course on how to handle a strong-willed child. So you need
Mm,
to go out of your way because life adjustment has to be made. The next person is not you. So I'm
mm,
learning every day. The next person is not you, not even your child. It's the same thing. The way you expect your work colleagues, your relatives, your child is not you. So
mm,
the first thing, just understand that part. Your child is not you.
mm.
So you are dealing with another human being. And what I always remind myself, anything I'm capable of doing or I did as a young person, multiply it. That's what your child will do. So
It will be.
whatever you exhibited, you must be prepared to see it and be able to adjust to be able to still parent. So this is a good advice to parents.
Yeah.
I'm still a parent. I'm still parenting. Do you understand? So because parenting is a tough one. Yes, it's a tough one. So my
Yeah.
darling sister, what biblical principles can guide the healing of the parent-child relationship? What biblical principles can guide? Sometimes the parents will just be like you already mentioned it, they'll just be proud. They'll tell me, I didn't do this to my father. Oh no, that statement in
My
this day
father.
parenting, in this 21st day parenting, I don't think it will augur well. It will even distort the parenting journey because I didn't do this to my father. I didn't do this to my mother.
I didn't kill my father. You cannot kill
Uh-uh.
me.
Oh, thank you. It won't work. It won't work. So let's over to you. What biblical principles can you advise our viewers today?
Yeah. So the wonderful thing is that God is in the business of restoring
Yeah.
people, is in the business of building bridges, because that is what he did with our Lord Jesus Christ. The
Yeah.
relationship was broken down, we're separated from him, and he sent Jesus to die, for our sin. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, building that bridge. So Jesus is our bridge to the Lord. So he's still in that business. In Malachi 4:6, he said, he will turn the heart of the father to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers. So that shows us that it is possible.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to praying about the situation, because we have to pray, in addition to praying about the situation, we have to show love and compassion for
Yeah.
our children.
Okay.
We have to show love and compassion. Like the father of the prodigal child, it met the child with love, not with condemnation. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes if another parent could have, maybe when the prodigal son was coming and say, you are here, mockery, mocking the child, or just passing some sarcastic remark. Oh, you've gone and come back. You don't suffer very well. But the father didn't do that. He welcomed the child with love. So love and compassion.
Yeah.
Love and compassion. We must have so much love in our heart for our children, show a lot of compassion to them, because they are also human. If we go through the situations, they also do. If we go out all day and we are tired, they are also tired. So we
Yeah.
must bear that in mind and try to find the root cause. Okay, what is making
Yeah.
this child to act this way? Or what can I do differently? And we must also be ready to forgive.
Yeah.
Forgiveness. Healing begins when past mistakes are released. We
Yeah.
must forgive one another, even as Christ forgave us. So you must also do. And we must forgive our children, because sometimes as parents we may not know that we harbor some things against our children, the same way that the children may harbor things in their hearts against their children. So we must check ourselves consistently and forgive our children. Sometimes they do things that cost us a lot, but in my dialect they will say a child will not be so wicked and you will throw the child to the tiger to eat, or
Mm-mm.
to the lion to eat.
Never.
So,
Never.
so we must forgive them with love and compassion, and we must be patient. I'm
Yeah.
also learning. I'm also learning from all of this. We must be patient and prayerful. We must
Mm.
pray for their return. We must pray for the rebuilding of that relationship. We
Yeah.
must wait and pray for them. We must model godliness, model forgiveness to them. Because
Yeah.
sometimes, some situations are kind of bad. The children are out. They've turned against, what you believe as a family, against the value. You cannot give them to the tiger, to the devil, to eat, because they are the Lord's heritage. So you must pray for their return, and you must wait in love for their return. And when they return, you must accept them, with that love and compassion, the way
Yeah.
that the father of the prodigal child just opened his hand to receive the child. So
Thank you. Thank you. As a parent, thank you very much. Sis. Wonderful contribution. Let me just add to it from what you said. You said when you receive them back in love, after prayerfully receiving them back in love, you are also training a generation not to live a dysfunctional life, because there are so many dysfunctional activities. Let me not say people now. So many dysfunctional activities. You'll be wondering, is this for real? You'll be wondering, how did this come about? As in, you see, there's so much innocence. So just as parents, we must help our children so that they don't live in dysfunction. We must accept them wholeheartedly, in love, in kindness. That way, you're even teaching them all the traits they need to run in their everyday life. You're teaching them forgiveness, you're teaching them kindness, you're teaching them love. That love can be unconditional. That even when there is a wrong, that you can forgive. And you must forgive, because keeping it doesn't help anything. The ship, in part of the relationship, the ship is a large boat that carries a lot of people, human beings, and as well as other items. So the ship has to be very large. So that means your heart has to be very large to be able to connect. The relationship has to be intact so that everybody is on the same, as in doing well, the same page of doing well, the same page of thriving, the same page of fulfilling and living fulfilling destiny and living a purposeful life. So we'll go to another question. Let me see. What practical steps, what practical steps can parents and children take to rebuild the trust and reconnect? You already mentioned it, prayerfully do it. So let's get the other ones. Yes.
Yeah, so I think it's important as parents that we must always leave the door open for reconciliation.
Yeah.
You know, don't say, I don't want to have anything to do with you again and all that, especially when you are praying. When you are praying, when you are waiting for the return of a child, leave the door open for reconciliation in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And there must be open communication in the house. Create safe spaces where children can speak without fear of judgment, without fear of being made jest of, or being talked down at, or being compared to others. So be intentional as a parent to
Mm-hmm.
create open spaces. Then, of course, we can have shared activities as a
Yeah.
family as we rebuild through time together, meals together,
Mm-hmm.
as parents be intentional about having meals together, praying together, uh, volunteering together, like, service, have fun together, go out together, games, just be creative as a parent to have that shared activity. The shared activity may even be what the children enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
You may not enjoy doing it. Like, there are a lot of things I don't enjoy doing, but you just do it
You
because
just show up as a
you
parent.
just
You
show up.
show up.
Even
Yeah.
if you are, and I try not to ask the wrong question that will make them feel like, why are you even here? Because basketball, I don't understand. I was, okay, is it touchdown? Is it the, but just trying to show up and apologize and forgive. Parents should model humility by saying, I'm sorry when wrong. We've said that. And we establish the spiritual bond in the home. Pray together, study the scripture together, and invite God into the healing process. Because these children, they are the heritage of the Lord. They belong to
Yeah.
God. And we are going to give account to God how we have fared with them, how we treated, his heritage, how we raised them. So rebuilding the bridge requires a restoration, not just forgiveness. When you are forgiving, you restore. And
Mm-hmm.
the father of the prodigal child clothed the son with a robe, gave him a ring, and threw a feast for him, symbolizing acceptance,
Mm-hmm.
identity, and celebration. So if you have been waiting for your child to come around, and when they eventually do, please, let's restore fully. They are part of the family, and they will always be valuable members of the family. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. While you were talking, I just remembered an experience when I went to see my friend. They were I think they were the oldest of the children, our children, I think they were not up to 7. So we went for, is it the 3D or the 4D? I can't remember. So when we now got into, as in like the ride where we're supposed to be viewing the viewing place, They now said if anybody is scared, the person should come down. My first son turned, Auntie, please don't tell them you are scared because you already knew. So when they started, I was frightened. I didn't, you know what I just did? And I closed my eyes, even with the glasses, I was in 3D, whatever glasses, the viewing glasses, I closed my eyes very, very well. So as they shout, I will shout. When they are laughing, I will laugh. So I was now, like, just to buttress what you said, I was not doing everything they were doing. When they came, how was it? I said, beautiful, beautiful. I did not see anything because I just had to be there because they were thrilled, they were happy. So as
Yeah.
parents, yeah, sometimes we just have to sacrifice. It takes a whole lot. It takes a whole lot. But in the long run, you will still enjoy it. After all, when you go for all the ceremonies, all the children's ceremonies, you'll be smiling from ear to ear, but because are your joys. You will not remember all this you went through, whether the bathing, the children waking up early. But the truth is, those are your preparation to enjoy the child, to share their celebrations, to share their victories, and that's it. So as a parent on this call today, we say thank you for joining in. But before we say the final thank you, I would like you to say one or two words to advise parents who are on the call.
Thank you for joining us. So parent-child disconnect is real, but it's not final. It's not final. With love, forgiveness, intentional communication, and God's grace, broken bridges are rebuilt. So, yeah. And the story of the prodigal son reminds us that reconciliation is always possible when hearts are turned towards each other in love. So let's stay connected as a family. Let's check our families, whatever is going on, and bring it forward to the Lord, and also be intentional about showing love and compassion to the children. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Then also remember that you are building a generation, you are grooming a generation. So whatever you give to them is what they will exhibit in their own time when they become full adults. And remember, the starting point of trauma starts from the home. So if the parenting is not right, they will grow with it and they will start to deal with trauma, self-limiting beliefs, and every other negative emotions they will start to exhibit. So as parents, let's be intentional. She's already spoken about it. Communication is key, sacrifice, love. I know we can be very, very busy, but the busyness in the long run, would you be willing to take the result of the busyness, or you are ready to calm down, be intentional about grooming the next generation? Thank you again for joining, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you, and goodbye from Nigeria, and I think it's good afternoon from, thank you for joining in. Thank you. We appreciate you. Bye.
Bye.